to Gen X Toy Box. So we have another interview tonight. I'm really excited. So this is a very multifaceted artist. Like artist isn't even the right word, I don't think. Like he's a creator. I think that's what I'm gonna go with. And his name is Osman, or we call him Oz Karriem. And like his list of accomplishments is like a mile long. Like actor, sculptor, illustrator, singer, songwriter, film director, and martial artist. So that's an important one right there. So and he's been featured on like CBS, ABC, Fox, and that's just a few stuff. So welcome Oz, and thank you so much for joining our channel tonight.
Well, thank you so much. Whoever you were talking about, I'm dying to meet this person.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God. I'm all excited. When's he coming on the show?
Right now, like like do not be humble. Like this is not the time to be humble. You got good stuff going on. This is all about you and showing off what you do. So
thank you.
So like I said, you had a really impressive resume, and I would love to start at the beginning of your journey. Get to know about more of you and your childhood and how it shaped your talents and arts and aspirations. And if you have the same interest then as you have now, like how was little Oz? Like how did he become Oz he is today?
A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. No, but that's a great way to start. I mean, as a kid, I had my first memory was my mother's wig, styrofoam heads. You know what I'm talking about? Well, if you don't have a wig, anyway, I would draw a face on that. Then I would start drawing on the walls. And for some reason, I guess my parents thought I was kind of good or something, maybe. But from then on, I just continued to just create and create. But really, what got me really going was I saw Speed Racer, the Mach 5, fell in love head over heels. I was like a groupie for that show. Nice. And I got in a lot of fights with my sister over that show because she liked Gilligan's Island. I mean, it's not even a good comparison. I mean, what are we talking about? No, but anyway, I lost those because she was bigger. But I had to make this Mach 5. So I was looking all around the house for something I can make this toy. Because obviously there weren't any Mach 5 toys in America back then that I knew of. So at my little 5-year-old mind says, well, just make it yourself. And I would use plastic boards, I use paper, and I ran across some aluminum foil and I bent it and it stayed into place and I didn't have to glue it or anything. I'm like, wait a minute. What we got here? So I started twisting. And of course it didn't quite look like the Mach 5, but I knew it was a Mach 5. But then I kept working on it. And before I knew it, I had the back part right, the front part, because you had to get the 3 forks of the car. I mean, the front had to get that right. And next thing I know, people were like, yo, that's the Mach 5. I'm like, yeah, it is. Awesome. And eventually I added wheels. But to answer your question, the big breakthrough was, no, I shouldn't say breakthrough, but what really made it fun for me is that the other kids in the neighborhood saw that I could make things out of foil, and I became very popular very quick because I could make anything with that stuff. I mean, you know, your husband could attest, I made some stuff for him, but I was super popular. And as you can tell, I like to talk a little bit. So I had Christmas at my house every day. Exactly. So I would make the toys, the spaceships, the motorcycles, the horses and the cowboys, and that's what got me into my filmmaking, because I started to visualize stories and concepts and characters and through lines of narration, which I didn't know the terminology then, but I was actually producing my foil characters, and then me and my friends, we would go start doing things where we would run around, play cowboys and Indians, and I would produce a show. And I guess that's a long answer to your question.
No, that's great. Like, and it's very true that, what is it? Necessity is the mother of invention. So it was definitely true in your case. Like, you really wanted a toy. They didn't have it, so you made it. Like, that's perfect. And then you became like neighbor for Santa Claus. Like, how awesome is that?
Exactly.
That's really
that's where it all started. And from there, you know, I would lend myself to, initially I started out as drawing and, you know, doing crayons, but then I would do sculpturing. and my imagination just never stopped. I continue to evolve, I guess,
It's awesome.
to this day. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So did you get any like, because it seems like a lot of it was just like all in your head. Did you ever like do any special training, schooling, or mentoring to like hone it, or was it just it's in my head, I'm creating it?
Well, can I tell you a little story?
Yeah, yeah,
Story time, right?
yeah.
Well, I'm jumping from childhood to an adult.
Mhm,
No, I've never been trained,
mhm.
and once I start doing like magazines and televisions and things like that, my niece says, "Well, you're doing a lot of stuff with your art. You ever think about putting yourself in a museum?" I said, "Well, yeah, I guess I kind of thought about it." She said, "Well, go to the African American Museum and talk to one of the curators." So she actually, my niece Audrey, God bless her, love you. Uh, she set it up, and I met the curator. Had this big suit and tie meeting. I'm like, okay, this is going to be good, I think.
Yeah.
And the guy looked at my work and he says, "Your work is good. I
Mhm,
like it,
mhm,
but I have one question for you.
mhm.
Who trained you?"
Mm,
Back to the crux of your question.
yeah.
I said, "I self-taught." He said, he responded like I said, "Tour? Did you go to college?" Little 5-year-old mind created this.
Yeah.
So he was disappointed. And I was like, I was disappointed that he was disappointed. I'm like, what did I do wrong?
Like, what does
I
that
said,
even matter?
yeah, I said, I created this art form and I think that's why I'm here. He says, well,
Mhm.
see, it doesn't work like that. It's kind of like an association and, it's part of your storyline. And we usually try to tie in, you know, some type of, I kind of turned off what he was saying after that,
Yeah.
unfortunately, because I was like, I was penalized for being self-taught, self-trained.
No, that's
And I guess he wanted academia, scholarship, and fraternity. I don't know, but
unfortunate.
that really turned me off from art for a few years. I just was dejected. I like if I can't make if an art gallery doesn't want me, then what's the point?
So,
But I did find my new home in the collectibles.
oh,
That's where I, made my bones. I was a rock star over there. But in the art world, I was like, yeah, well, yeah, not so much.
mhm.
So
Yeah.
interesting.
I wish I could find that person and beat them up. That sounded really mean.
Yeah, I want to watch.
Oh my goodness, that was just mean. Like, it does not matter where you've learned what you've learned. It's art, it's the process, it's the experience of the art. It has nothing to do about what school you went to. People go to school for art all the time and their stuff comes out like garbage. So,
Yeah, well, I would say, but you know what? It's life. There's politics and everything. You go to any work or any academia or any vocation, there's going to be politics, whether it's a little bit or a lot, whether it's overt or covert. It's a political thing, and it's sobering when you say, "Okay, I have talent. That should do it." No,
mhm,
that's not enough. That gets you to the dance. And what I would recommend to any artist that would even pay to hear me, hear my opinion is, I think the key is just being consistent, being
mhm,
passionate about what you do, regardless of the outcome. Because if you don't love what you're doing, then what are we doing? You
right.
know, it's
Makes a lot of
you
sense.
got to do it. You got to do it when it doesn't matter to anybody else but yourself.
That's very true. And to be thick skinned and know your worth. That's another one too, I would think. Like, even though someone may not think that your stuff is good, know your worth and what you put into it. And yes, take what everybody says with a grain of salt. But in the end of the day, if you're happy with what you're putting out, that's all that matters. So,
Yeah, and art is subjective. You have somebody who says this is, as you well put. You and I've seen some stuff that we like. That's not good. I'm like,
right.
I. That's how I was drawing when I was 5 years old. But you get how many? 10.5 million for that? Yeah, it's
Mhm.
it's it's political because I had the pleasure of working with a publicist named Michael White, who I think is phenomenal. He saw my work. This is about 10, 15 years ago. I don't know. But he saw my work and saw that he was like, No, that's not right. That's not correct. I was on the ESPN show called Cold Pizza, and Jay, the host, what's Jay's last name? See, I'm getting old. Jay Crawford. Yes, Jay Crawford. Being that I was on the show several times, we got to be pretty good friends. And he says, "You know what? I'm going to introduce you to my publicist." So he introduced me to Michael Weitz, who's probably the best publicist in New York City. And I was like, "Wow, that's cool. I'm going to work with Michael Weitz." And so the record scratched, and he says, "Okay, I love your work." This is Michael Weitz. He said, "I love your work. I want to work with you. Let's do it." I said, "Great, let's do it." He says, "Well, it's going to cost you $5,000 a month. That's it." And da 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 da. I said, "Whoa, five a month?" He said, "Yeah." But then again, this is what he brought to the table. He can get you on Oprah Winfrey. He can get you in the Olympics. He's the reason why I was got to do the Super Bowl show. So you want to be on a Wheaties box, or you want your art to be on, Good Morning America.
Yeah.
You're paying for that. You're. In fact, one of his clients, she was on Good Morning America, and she drew, like, no disrespect, but it's a style. It's a stylistic preference. But she drew like a 5-year-old would draw, like with barely above stick figures. And she was on Good Morning America, and she would put that art on her pocketbooks and everything. It was kind of cute, but I'm like, is that what I got to do to get on in Good America? You would tell an artist, and they were like, "Do I got to regress?" And that's no shade on her, because she's. I knew that Michael Weitz made the calls. Get what you got to pay $5,000. She may have made that in one sale. I don't know, but that's politics.
I know. And like when you were going through all this, is this more of your drawing? Is it more of your like sculptures? Like what is the art that you were trying to advance with at this point?
I would define myself as a conceptualist. I think of concepts. Like right now, John knows about my new project, which I am super excited about. It's called, I can't tell you the title right now because I'm still writing it. But once you hear the title, you'll did he tell you? Well, he didn't tell you about it, but I'll sing you some.
I overheard little snippets, and I definitely want to talk about that. But I kind of wanted to talk to you about I know you actually wrote a book, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm very jealous because that's my life dream. My life dream is to write a book, and it's called Godwraith. So, tell me a little bit about that. Like, I know you said you're very multifaceted, you like to do a lot of stuff. Like, what is that about? And I heard it might be turned into a movie too.
Well, actually, the Godwraith is the first book I wrote. The second book is the Godwraith Prophecy. Basically, it's the same story, but this is the lesson I learned through that experience. It's a correlation between what I just mentioned about the Super Bowl show. I knew that I would be in front of potentially millions of people, so I had this idea of my book, and so I said, well, I want to get this book done in time to have it ready for that show, so I can promote the book. Bad decision because I rushed it.
Got it.
And when you would look back at if anybody ever got that book, they'll tell you it was not well written. And the lesson I learned, no, it's the truth. I'm telling you the truth. Because I rushed it, I had the nerve and the audacity to rush the editor. Big no-no. That's like rushing your doctor or rushing the cook. What are you doing?
Yeah.
So what happened was, the lesson I learned was that I think I'm a pretty good storyteller, but that does not automatically make you a good writer. Totally different discipline. And I learned the lesson a lot of novice writers have to learn, that it is a craft. And if you don't put the discipline and get your work up to the level where it's presentable, you're going in there against millions of other writers that have years and years of experience. So the key component is having something to say. The other component is to be able to articulate it in a literal form, and at least have some idea of structure, through line, different little rules of the game, and have critical eyes and critical, people listening and help you through it. So, wait a minute, I think I lost it. What was your question?
No. I just wanted you to talk about, that whole experience, and you definitely touched on it, and how, you learned a lot through it, and that's really good. And you're actually giving me a lot of advice, because if I ever wrote a book, now I know, take my time.
You will.
And
you will. You will.
One of these days. I said maybe
no,
when
no,
I retire.
no. I'm gonna give you some tips, but before I do that, I think the point I was trying to make, after I wrote the Godwraith, I put all my creativity in the story when I wrote the Godwraith.
Yeah.
But the Godwraith Prophecy, I put all my creativity in how I told the story. Oh, okay. You follow? You hear my logic?
Yeah.
So it took me 7 months to write the Godwraith.
Okay.
Guess how long it took me to write the revised version?
Let's go with a year and a half.
That's probably the first chapter. No, it took me 7 years to do the rewrite.
Wow.
You would think it would be 7 years to write the original, and 7 months to rewrite it, but no, I really. And who inspired me was, I have a lot of authors that I like, but Dan Brown taught me, because if you ever read the Da Vinci Code or any of his books, he is a very database, he does so much research that he's probably does way more research than he needs to do, but he knows the subject matter through in and throughout. Couple that with the fact that I wrote the video game script for the Godwraith. Now I know my story from a universal, from a dimensional perspective, because when you write a video game, you need to know everything, 365-degree angle of every situation.
That's true.
So I was coming with all kinds of characters and creatures and situations that I had in the back of my head. So when I rewrote the book, I had so much content that it was worth the 7 years. So I think it's probably my best piece of work. But I am going to rewrite it, because I can do better. I can do better.
That takes a lot as a person, and that shows a lot of your growth, to know that there's always room for improvement. There are people out there that just say, no, I've arrived, I'm good, and I think it's always really good to always take a look within and see how you can do better as a person. So I have faith in the book. I wanted to find out, is there is a way to purchase it at all?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. You just look up my name, Osman. That's my first name. Karriem is Karr as in Robert, I is in Indian, E is in Edward, M is in Michael. As the author, and the name of the book is the Godwraith Prophecy. People sometimes say the Godwrath, which is, I didn't write that. That's not me. It's the Godwraith. And even in the title, it's a paradox, because a wraith is something that evokes terror and fear.
Yeah.
But then they say, how do you tie that in with God? But God, in my concept of the word, is that God's vengeance is in a physical form of this one character. So, in this book, if you said this, your head may come off, literally. So it's extreme. And I was motivated by, because John will tell you, when I was in that comic book phase, that's what inspired me to write it. And all my friends that were writing, they all had these big, strong, muscular guys, and he's got this big chest and strong. I said, well, I like to go against the grain. I like to go in the other direction of the crowd. So I said, I want a woman as my hero, which was, listen, people balked when I did. They like, what are you doing? Why do you want a girl? I said, because you're not assuming that she is as powerful as she is. Right. But think about it. Hell have no fury. You want me to finish the rest, or you got it? All right. Everybody knows when a woman when she's passionate, nobody messes with Mother Bear. Nobody messes with a mother. Nobody messes with a big sister. So that was my inspiration of real strength, because when you're passionate and you're willing to die for something, the muscles don't matter. Ooh. You're faster, you're stronger, even when you're mad or happy, whenever you have a acceleration in your emotions, it affects you on a physical level as well.
Yeah.
So in my character, in the Godwraith Prophecy, she believed that God spoke to her, and it wasn't kind of sort of he was talking. It was like, yo, he's got her cell phone number. Like
Wow.
and she would pick up on people's prayers, and it had a lot to do with their passion, and she would pick up on those frequencies. So she believed that she was doing God's work to the point where she thought she was shielded by God, so she didn't fear bullets.
Oh,
And that mind over matter, that whole telekinesis and all of I use a lot of science involved with this, because her chi, as anyone knows martial arts, there's a lot of the mind is a potent thing. So with her not fearing anything, nothing could harm her, because she didn't believe nothing could harm her. But she was prophesizing in the mythos, in the story, through a manuscript called the Godwraith Prophecy. It's a book about a book.
Oh.
And the fact that it's a book about a book, the characters in the book don't know that they're part of the prophecy, which makes it that they are in the book that they're reading. It's heavy. Once you see, it's like
yeah, no,
it's a Matrix type thing.
I'm definitely gonna check it out, and I'm definitely gonna go find it and buy a copy, because that just sounds right up my alley. And everyone check the description, because I'm probably gonna put a link in there in case you want to buy it. So
I hope so.
That sounds awesome.
Thank you.
So yeah, I really, really wanted to talk about, like, moving into your other direction of, movie making and whatnot. I loved your show, The Riff, by the way. The Riff, the sound of blood and sweat and tears.
Yes, sir.
There you go. Let me tell you guys, it's on YouTube, and again, it'll be in the link in the description below. But I absolutely loved it. I was hooked, and I am desperate for another episode. So please tell me that there are more, like, expected to be made, and, like, please, because let me just tell you, the visuals in this is absolutely stunning. I just loved, there was art behind how everything was shot. It wasn't just shot to be shot. And you captured Philly so beautifully. Like, oh my goodness, the night scenes, I can't even. So if you get a chance, it's on YouTube. Watch The Riff. It's amazing. So
you're gonna make me want to rewatch it.
Ooh. So are you going to be making another episode?
Yes, in fact, we were supposed to shoot tomorrow. Today's I was supposed to shoot tomorrow, but we had our first quasi celebrity who asked, his manager asked, could he be in Riff? I said, of course, sure, absolutely. But he canceled on me. I won't mention his name. Young rapper. He canceled on me 2 weeks ago, and he's canceling tomorrow. So that's yeah. Well, you know what? That's almost a death nail, because you lose people, because now your credibility is at stake, and my credibility is critical. I like to do what I say, and I like to say what I'm going to do. So as far as Riff's concerned, we are already in the process of shooting episode 2, but this is what happened. This is the change, or the shakeup. Me and my partner, Psyche Sound, we bought a network. It's called AMP TV. We want to launch that next year. So we kind of want to shoehorn everything into the network versus YouTube. So I'm not sure if we'll get another episode of Riff on YouTube. There will be teasers. I will show clips. I may do episode 2 on YouTube, but it takes a while to shoot Riff, because a lot of other filmmakers, they can shoot a whole pilot by the time I get done 2 or 3 episodes, because I try to put a lot into it.
Oh yeah,
definitely. The locations, the props. I like using real locations. I'm not a big fan of CGI. I love CGI if it's used strategically in the right places, but to rely on that, nah. I think that's what made Marvel so much more impactful than the DC.
Listen, we don't talk about this in this house, because it's
okay.
sensitive stuff. I love DC.
I love DC.
I'm a DC person.
I love the stories.
I have to radically accept that DC movies are garbage, and it's hard. It's really
I,
hard.
I think they're playing catch up, and they saw how successful Marvel was, and they said, okay, well, let's replicate that, or let's keep up.
Yeah.
Instead of taking their time and saying, no, let's do our thing. And CGI is a real quick way to do it. And you just take your time and give the material that it's due just time to develop. Because DC has great writers. They really do.
Yeah. And their
But,
cartoons are amazing. I'm throwing that out there.
yes.
DC has amazing cartoons. Marvel does not. Okay.
See
Throwing
that? All's fair.
Yeah.
All's fair.
That's awesome.
All's fair, yes.
But yeah, so is there also like a way to purchase the Riff apparel, because that sweatshirt's amazing? So
yes, Riff comes in all colors. We got them in. And plus, see, and Riff, the web series, if anybody wants to know what it's about, it's close. The best comparison is, it's tough to compare, but I would say 8 Miles of Eminem. But as you see, I'm into cyberpunk a little bit, so everything I do has a little bit of an imaginative spin on it, because a lot of it is the mind of the main character. He sees things, and it's art, more artsy than maybe the typical street drama, because the main character is an artist, and the whole premise of the story is that the struggle of an artist is the story. I mean, after you make it, it's like, okay, you made it, but how you got there is far more compelling. That's true with anything, I think. The journey, just like in what's the book? It's called The Alchemist. If anybody's ever read that book. Yeah, see, I'm pulling some stuff out. I'm pulling some gems out. See, you didn't. Okay. But the one part about The Alchemist where the rich man told the little boy to go check out his mansion, but in the process, take this spoon filled with oil all the way up to the rim of the spoon, walk around, see the house, but you cannot spill a drop. So the little boy walked around, he didn't spill a drop. And when he came back to the rich man says, well, what did you think of my house? The little boy says, well, I don't know. I was concentrating on the oil. He said, go back and look at the house. Which I'm like, okay, well, okay, does he not worry about the oil? But that was never made clear to me. Yeah. But I knew the point was, if you don't appreciate the process, then you spend most of the time preparing for that one moment. The moment's just an instant, but the journey took you years, months, decades, whatever. And it's a never-ending process.
That's very true. Cool.
Yeah.
So now I know I need to get your book and I need to get a sweatshirt. So that's 2 things on my list. And then so on Riff, did you make any songs to put onto the soundtrack of that, by the way? Did you throw in some of your music?
Yes. Not by myself, though. My cousin Craig Benry helped me with some of the tracks. Unfortunately, I didn't put all of the tracks together like I wanted to. I would like to take credit for some of the music, but I can't, because normally I do the music. But that's usually when there's nothing else I got to do but music. Right. But being that I'm the director, the producer, and the maintenance guy, the caterer, the seamster, I got to do the whole thing. So to focus on the music, and especially I'm such a big proponent. Music is so important to me that if it's not what I want, I don't want it. Yeah. So I figured if I can't do it myself, I'm going to get the best people I can find and do it. But I am dying to put more of my music in the project. You will hear my music.
That's good. That's really good. So that's good. Do you still find time to like write music and stuff? Do you have time? You're making time for that at least?
Well, there's always a sacrificial lamb, right? So with all this filmmaking and all this writing, my little stepchild music is being neglected. Now when I'm doing my sculpturing, I don't have time to sculpt or do music. So when I'm not doing film, I do music, or I'll do, I even do my graphic arts. So I'm dying to get to my music, which is the one art form that I haven't really worked on in the last few years.
Well,
But I'm dying.
yeah, if you ever get back into the music and like put some more stuff out there, definitely. I want
Oh,
so.
okay.
Well, speaking of your sculptures, it's kind of sad to hear that they're like on the back burner for now.
Right.
But I was blown away. Okay, so this is my first impression, guys. My husband originally met Oz, and as he was working as a sculptor, a lot of stuff. And I remember first seeing this Punisher, and I'm gonna bring it out. I have.
Oh no.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. Guys, look at this.
Oh my God.
Yep.
No, not the Punisher.
This thing is like gold in my house. Okay, like if I even look at it funny, if I breathe on it, he's afraid that like something's gonna happen to it. Not because it's like not made well, just because he loves it so much, he doesn't. So
well,
yeah, no. So he has that, and then I'll get into the sculpting a little bit, but I want to show you. So we moved from New Jersey to North Carolina. I had to drive that 8-hour trip with this homeboy in my lap.
Tell them what it's made out of. You gotta explain all the.
Okay, so guys, these are sculptures, right? This is my husband's character, Tote Man.
Yeah.
Made out of aluminum foil. Like, what?
Get out of here.
I would never think that something like this beautiful, this detail, would be aluminum foil. It's like super lightweight. This has lasted how many years? I would say like at least
180, 85 years, maybe.
Probably, like I think it's like 12, like 12 to 20. I don't know, but my husband made me sit with this 8 hours in my lap driving to North Carolina, so nothing would happen. So,
I love it.
So yeah, we have that one, and then we also have. I'm not a fan of the person this is made after. This is my husband's ex-wife's character.
Oh my God. I forgot all about these characters.
But it's beautiful. Look at the details. She's leaving got little earrings. Come on, guys. Like, look at this. This is
that's foil, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that is all foil. And let me tell you, it's absolutely gorgeous. I had no idea when I first saw it, and I was shocked. So
wow.
Right there. So
that's insane.
I know, and it's beautiful. So like, how did you get the? I know originally it started with the car, the I can't think of the name.
Mach 5.
Yes, the Mach 5. So
yes.
What I guess, and you started making them for people in the neighborhood. What made you finally say, all right, I'm gonna get out, I'm gonna make these more of a thing. I'm gonna take, who's that? You brought it with you. Oh my God.
King of Pop.
Look at got it. Aluminum foil. Come on.
Yeah, that's the King of Pop. He's pretty big.
That is,
but he's not. He's been. I just pulled him out of the box. I don't know what kind of shape he is, but he can still dance and spin around, all that good stuff. That's why. That's why I was doing all these gyrations off camera like that. I was reaching for him.
That makes sense. Oh my goodness. So like,
right,
did you do comic book conventions? Is that what it was?
Yes. Yes. And I remember the one time I didn't do too many. I did a lot of sports memorabilia stuff because my best pieces are my football pieces. Like I did work for the Eagles for over 10 years, so that much focus on that particular subject matter made me pretty good at the football players. And then I would do other athletes because of the sports memorabilia, because that's where I was making my money, with the sports memorabilia. Because collectors like your husband go all out for what they want, and the fact that I could make anything made me a rock star with those guys, thank God. But I remember that one show I did, I don't know what it was, but my work was getting a lot of attention. And I seen all these people coming and asking me for my autograph. I'm like, wait a minute, you don't even know who I am. Like, I think one person asked me, they thought I was somebody else, and I signed the autograph, and then a whole flock of people came. They like, I'm signing all these autographs. So these people have no idea.
They didn't even know. They were just like, someone's doing autographs. I'm getting in on this.
Yeah. And then I met this girl at the time, when I did a show in Atlanta, and she says, oh my God, she said, do you love art? My art piece was downstairs in the lobby, so I'm upstairs. It was at the mall in Atlanta. the big one. I forget the name of it.
Yeah.
But she's like, oh my God, do you love art? I said, yeah, I love art. She said, oh my God, you got time? I said, sure. What? She said, I want to show you something that's going to blow you away. I said, what? She said, somebody sculpted some stuff out of aluminum foil. It's amazing. I said, oh my God, I got to see this.
Like, no,
She
really?
said, yeah. I said, hold on, wait a minute. Did you say foil? She said, yeah. I said, I think I know this person. She said, what? You know this person? I said, yes. In fact, I saw him about 10 minutes ago. He said, where? I said, when I looked in the mirror. She lost her mind. I'm like, that was one of the best moments. That was kind of cool. Yeah.
And I mean, you've done a lot. Like, how long does that take? Like, do you remember how long these normally take you to do?
Well, next time when I'm at my shop, I promise to do one live. I can do, without painting, without a whole lot of detail, I can do one in under a minute. I can make a person. And I can do it blindfolded. I told my one girlfriend, I said, I could do it under a minute, blindfolded. And I think I did it over a minute and some change, but I can do it. I know I can. It's a challenge.
This is shock right now. Like, I officially just went into shock. That is.
Yeah, it's just muscle memory.
This would take me probably the rest of my life. And it would come out like all like it just wouldn't.
You'd be surprised. No, now the piece that I would do in a minute wouldn't be something that would market, of course. But I mean, to do one as fully detailed as the Michael or even Tote Man, it would take some time because I have to really get out the wrinkles on certain portions because I try to break up the textures.
Yeah.
Because like the skin has to be smoother than the clothing. Right. And something that's form fitting, like a superhero's spandex has to be muscled and defined versus a t-shirt. And if I do it, actually t-shirt almost is challenging because you got to do all the folds and all the wrinkles. So you don't get any breaks. But you know what the turnaround was when here is with all these girlfriends. I keep mentioning different girlfriends, but my girlfriend out in LA, when I lived out in LA, I didn't make a lot of money as an artist. I was a freelance artist. I worked at a print shop and I was their artist. So I was just happy to have a job as an artist, but I didn't make hardly any money. So it was her birthday and it was her birthday. She loves the Ninja Turtle. So my lunch break, I made the Ninja Turtles, and it was actually the first time I sculpted in about 10 years of foil. So I said, I got to get her something. I don't really have a lot of money. And I said, okay, I'll make her something. And I said, I'll make her something out of foil. And I made her the Ninja Turtles. Now the breakthrough was once I made them, I said, well, they got different colors on the turtles. Yep. So it's the first time I decided to paint my sculptures. So I had to, I painted them with that fluorescent green and they just popped. And I did the shells and I did the scar and Leonardo and all the rest of and when the guys at my job saw that, they said, oh my God, where'd you buy those at? I said, I made them. They said, yo, you should take them down to Venice Beach and sell them. I said, nobody's gonna buy this crap. You serious? He said, no, they buy a lot of crap down Venice Beach. So if you got crap, that's the place to go. So that wasn't what I wanted to hear. But I said, okay, well, let me make a whole bunch of stuff. I made Dick Tracy, all the stuff, the Flintstones, all the stuff that was popular back then. Yeah. And I spent the whole week, I painted on my roof and I got to see downtown LA. It was beautiful moments. I'll never forget. And when I took my pieces down to the Venice Beach that Saturday, and I'm not exaggerating, I opened up the crate, set everything up, and in 15 minutes, everything was gone. I had a crowd. And to me, to this day, I don't understand why somebody would crowd around to see something out of foil, but it was just one of those moments that we all have our moments. In that moment, I said, I can actually sell these things. And I made a few $100 in 15 minutes. And I quit the job, obviously, after that. But the rest is what they say history. I had to go out to LA to realize that I had, a potential to make a business out of this. So, that's that story.
So, I was curious, what kind of paint do you use? Like, I have no clue what kind of paint would stick to you.
Enamels. You can't use acrylic. It has to be oil-based. Okay. Because the water-based ones, they'll flake right off.
That makes sense.
And I use paint. I use enamel spray paints, and I use tester little model paints. Okay. I use Sharpies for eye lines, to do eyebrows and mustaches, and
Okay.
I use whatever. I use real hair sometimes, which I don't like to do anymore. But no, I mean
I
not
don't
real
like
human hair.
Oh, okay. So, like
Doll hair.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of like hair and stuff. I don't. This is freaks me.
Well, what if I did the Beast from Beauty and the Beast? She wanted to be bald. I mean, I would.
I
I would
don't
like to
care
do
if
that.
it's like doll fuzz or like rug hair. I'm just talking about like I don't know, human hair. I don't know. It's a whole thing. The hair, nails.
I'm gonna do you a Beast from Beauty and the Beast with no hair on it. Let's see how that comes out.
Like a naked mole.
Yeah, I'm curious. I want to see that.
See, and it baffles my mind because like, okay, I try and use aluminum foil to cover something. No matter how many times I try, I'll need to use like 5 pieces of aluminum foil just to be able to cover a piece of pizza that I'm putting in the freezer. Like I can't imagine trying to make this stuff. But oh wait, my husband pulled another one out of the archives, by the way.
The mirror head. Oh, the Wolverine.
Yeah. So apparently this is how he first met you. So this is back in like the 90s. You were in the Echelon Mall, and I don't know if y'all know about the Echelon Mall, but that was the place to go in South Jersey. And you had a brown and tan Wolverine, but you didn't have a yellow and blue, which is my husband's favorite, which he collects. So you were trying to get him to buy the brown and tan, and he's like, no. So apparently he ran to a comic shop in the Echelon Mall, got a comic so you could see what the blue and yellow look like, and for you to reference it, and you made this for him. So that's apparently how.
Well, all right. Here's truth. Oh, hold on. Don't get too close. I gotta admit,
what's like years old.
That's what I want to explain to the audience. Listen, that is what I call a throwback piece.
This is a throwback piece. This is at least 30 years old, guys. Like this.
And if I were to show you a Wolverine now, you would not think it's the same. Material.
No, this is a really big throwback. It has been transferred in and out of Wolverine shrines for years, and no, but you have done stunning stuff. Like I was looking, you've done like really iconic people too. Like you did the Michael Jackson, you've done the basketball players, you did a Marilyn Monroe. I saw your Biggie. Like, oh my goodness, I wanted the Biggie.
Okay.
And I need a Tupac to go with that though.
Okay, gotcha.
I need a Tupac. That's just me.
Gotcha.
Your Busta was beautiful.
Okay, I still have Busta.
The Eminem was good too.
And there's stories to all of these pieces. You know that. We don't have to get into all of them.
Then that's what I wanted to say. Like, tell me a bit about like. Has anyone that you sculpted, like a famous people, did they ever get to see the pieces that you made of them? Like I know you did one.
More than you'll know. Like I'll say Prince for last. Okay. But I had to say something about the Jane Mansfield piece I did. Mm-hmm. I really like that one because the gentleman who ordered the Marilyn Monroe, which those pieces were huge. I think they were like 1/4 scale. They were actually big sculptures. Well, not life size, obviously, but they were at least 3.5 feet high. Wow. So I did the Maryland for him, but he wanted me to do a Jane Mansfield. And if I could show you the picture, there's a picture of Jane Mansfield where she's got a mink coat on, she's got the black hat on, and something else. But the guy had pieces of that actual mink coat left, and he wanted me to wrap in a piece of the hat or something. So he had me make the sculpture out of the actual dress that she was wearing in that picture, which was that was crazy. Yes, I'll never forget that. And then with Busta Rhymes, I did a piece for his manager. What's his manager's name? God rest his soul. Anyway, that story. Anyway, let's go to a more interesting story. Prince. Well, like Joe Montana from the 49ers.
There is a picture on your Facebook about that, isn't there? Didn't he get to see what you sculpted?
Listen, Joe Montana, my ex-girlfriend, another ex-girlfriend. My ex-spouse is
up over there with those ex-girlfriends. You have a whole pile.
Yeah, I'm not a bad guy, ladies. But my ex-girlfriend at the time was a sports agent. And her firm represented a lot of athletes, Joe Montana, Dan Marino. So I got to meet all those guys. And the one time I told my buddy, I said, yo, that's my buddy Joe Montana over there. He's like, yeah, right. I said, that's my buddy. So Joe said, "Hey, what's up, Boz?" I said, "What's up, Joe?" And that happened to me with Reggie White, rest his soul. I was telling another buddy of mine, I said, "Yo," I said, "that's Herschel Walker over there at the Deptford Mall." My friend Ron, he was like, "That's not Herschel Walker." I said, "That big neck on that guy is Herschel Walker's neck."
Yeah.
And he still didn't believe me. And then I said, I heard all these kids screaming. It was Reggie White coming out of the movie theater with all these kids. I said, "Well, if that's not Herschel Walker, who's that?" He said, "That's Reggie White." And Reggie White stopped on a dime. He said, "Hey, yo, Herschel, come here. I want you to meet somebody." He said, "That's the foil guy." He couldn't remember my name.
Guy. Oh my goodness.
He said, "That's the foil guy." He said, "Come here, foil guy. I want to talk to you." And I came over there. He says, "Let me tell you something." He put his big 15-pound hand on my shoulder. He says, "Tell him, Herschel." He said, tell the foil guy what's in the center of my trophy display." He said, "That piece that you made him," he said, "out of all the awards I won, that's my favorite piece and my trophy piece." And I said, "Reggie," I got something even better for you. The timing was insane because I just did a Herschel Walker piece, and this is 3 days before the Eagles signed Herschel Walker. I had the piece in my car. It was finished. So when I went out there and got the piece, I said, "Reggie, I want to give you this piece on behalf of the Philadelphia Eagle fans to you to give to Herschel." And Herschel lost his mind. It was just a great moment. And last but not least, Prince. I'll make this story really short.
Yeah,
Prince is my favorite artist. Awesome. So I'm not starstruck. But that being said, I won tickets because I entered a contest for WDAS. I'm sure you're from Philly. You might know WDAS. It's one of the stations. And they said whoever has the best Prince memorabilia gets front row center tickets. I said, "Well, shoot, I got a Prince sculpture out of foil. That should be considered."
Exactly. That should do it.
So I won. I got front row center. And I've dealt with celebrities like Spike Lee. I worked with Spike Lee and different. That's a whole nother story we'll save for another time. But Spike is, anyway, that's another story. Spike, I did a lot of work for Spike. But the thing is, that night I wanted to be a fan that night because that's my favorite artist. I'd already seen Prince a couple of times, but never this close. And I said, I don't want to be. It's not about business for me tonight. I want these tickets. I want to have some fun. So for the first time in my life, I was a fan. I'm not a fan, but I said tonight I'm the biggest fan in the world. So I'm dancing, singing. And the girl from his band pulled me up on stage and started dancing with me. And then, of course, other people joined in. And Prince is dancing all around me. I seen the footage, which is crazy. So afterwards, he says, "Well, you coming to the after party?" I said, "Heck yeah, I'm coming to the after party." I said, "You might be one of my future ex-girlfriends. Why not?" So
more to the pile.
So anyway, I go to the after party, and Prince has his. So I get to the VIP because I guess I went to the VIP, so they let me back there to meet Prince because I was going to give him the piece. Yeah. That's the way I was going to end this fantastic night.
Yeah.
So when I get back there, I get through the ropes. Prince got his in his band, and she got excited, like, "Hey, like you would, like you saw an old friend." Say, "Hey," got all excited. Prince looked at her like she was crazy. God rest his soul. He looked at her like she was crazy. Like, why are you getting excited about this guy? Yeah. And also Prince waved over to his bouncer, his security guy, whispered something into his ear. I said, "This is not going to be good." And Prince is looking at me with that stare. He's got those eyes that are piercing. He's looking at me like, wait till you hear what I got to say to you. So the bouncer comes and tells me, he says, "Well, the artist does not want that piece because he does not believe in idol worshiping and things of that nature." I'm like, all these posters of him around this building, you kidding me?
Yeah.
So I looked at Prince like, and I'm now to I said, "What does that mean? What are you saying?" And Prince just looked at me like, "You heard me," kind of looked. And I said, "You know what? If I was on the streets, I would grab your little beep up." And I said, no, but you Prince, and I'm gonna let you have a slide on that. And I know it had something to do with that girl because the energy was. I'm like, I'm nobody. Prince is Prince. What are you talking about? Yeah. But Prince was very, I would never say anything bad about it because I still love Prince to this day.
Yeah.
And but the lesson was not his; it was mine. I learned that when you act like a fan, you'll be treated like a fan. There's nothing wrong with fandom,
Right.
because fandoms is what makes anything relevant. But I just was out of my character, and I, it's a moment. Prince snubbed me. That's probably not the only person he snubbed.
Yeah, but you got snubbed by him, so that's good,
right.
right?
If anybody's gonna snub me, let it be Prince. That's still my
Like,
favorite artist to this
yeah.
day. I love him to death. He's just the most amazing artist I've ever seen in my life. I don't know if we'll ever have I said, well, I don't think I ever want to have lunch with him or anything like that, but I'm only kidding. God rest his soul.
Yeah. Well, that sounds really fun. So yeah, the celebrities seem to be a really cool influence on your sculptures. And yeah, again, if you ever get back into the sculptures, let us know. Like that is insane. But
I gotta do that hairless beast from Beauty and the Beast.
The naked mole rat.
Yes.
So what does your future, we're talking a little bit about this earlier. What are your future projects? What does the future hold for you? Like, what are you going to work on? I overheard you talking about costume design. So what is that all?
Well, first I got to give a shout out to my podcast and my co-host, the lovely Tisa Williams. I was supposed to try to meet up with her today, but timing. But I have my our podcast, which is called the 624 Show. It's is it written out? I think it's spelled out. It's the 624 Show. We have about 4 episodes already, and that's one of my projects, and along with Riff. But my main focus right now is AMPED TV, AMPED television network. It's going to change the game. Awesome. Because it's modeled after MTV, early MTV, BET / Netflix type thing, but the I guess describe the network. It's the home of tomorrow's stars, because we're gonna launch all of the new up and coming artists, from singers, rappers, filmmakers, sculptors, dancers, writers, which you may be a guest soon one day. And it's going to be the best. And also we got what we call AMP Camp, which is our nonprofit leg, where we'll be giving back to schools and getting music to the hands of the people that need it. And we really want to be a driving force going in the future. I am so excited about it with my partner, Psyche of Sound. He's the most creative. You think I'm creative? That guy is bananas. Wow. So if you ever look up, anybody want to see some of the next conceptual art and music, it's Psyche of Sound. He's been compared to Prince. He's been compared to Lenny Kravitz. He plays every instrument. You'll see this instrument he's got. It's called a Zendrum. It lights up. Just check out Psyche of Sound, and you'll be like, yo, this guy's, you may want to interview him. He's just insane. So I'm excited about AMTV and the project that you referred to as far as the costumes, which I'm super excited, because AMTV's first original series is Riff, but the second one, it's a superhero show, but they're not superheroes. Okay. It's going to be kind of like on the lines of Kick-Ass. Cool. It's a neighborhood watch group that Philadelphia has never imagined, and these guys and girls will. You don't know if you're safer with them on the street or more. Awesome. It's going to be insane. I'm so super excited about this new show, and we're starting to cast it and I'm starting to write it, put it together, but I can't stop thinking about this new show. Awesome. So we are look out for it. As you are. Yes, we are going to keep our eyes peeled, and yes, give us some teaser trailers. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Right. So in wrapping up, so our channel is all about the love of geek culture, toys, collectibles, art, everything. So what are some of your favorite toy lines from like your childhood and now? And what are some of the comics you enjoy? I know we talked a little bit about comics. So like toys wise and comics wise, what do you like? I like toys. I was always into action figures. Cool. So Mattel was always good for me. As far as comic books, all of the popular movies are actually all of the comic books I loved, and that's not because I'm riding the coattails of, but I loved X-Men. I loved Iron Man. I like Black Panther. I I just love a lot of all the ones that are popular. Just my luck, all of them are popular to the world. So that's pretty much summarizing my love of comics.
You got no love for DC either. It's fine. It's whatever.
Batman is actually my favorite out of all of them.
Okay, that's fine.
So there you go.
Okay,
there you
just
go.
redeemed yourself because I was like, all right, I can't win. I mean, the DC movies have been so terrible that they have switched over to Marvel fans. It's bad.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate you doing the interview tonight. You have so much stuff going on, and I honestly wish you the best with everything. With MTV.
Thank you.
Your art. I hope you get back to your songwriting, back to your sculpting.
I will.
I
really promise.
Everything works out, and we will be keeping an eye out. We will be here supporting you all the way, and I'm definitely going to be buying some of your stuff soon. So,
thank you so much. This was a fantastic interview. Awesome. You are a phenomenal interviewer, and you are a bright shining star. Thanks. And I'm a fan of your show going forward. I won't miss a single episode.
Cool.
And I might have you on one of my shows. No, not might. I will. We're gonna reverse roles.
I would be honored.
Fantastic.
I gotta start writing, and then we'll talk.
Yes, we'll talk about that.
All right, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the interview. And again, check the description below. There is a lot of cool stuff in there, and keep your eyes peeled. There are great things to come. All right, bye guys. We'll see you soon.
Bye. Take care. See ya. Bye.
That was a really good interview. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Hello, everyone. So we've reached one of our first few milestones. We've got to 100 subscribers. We got to 125. So this one is our new one for 150. And I just wanted to take the time to thank you guys for watching these videos. I mean, the whole reason we got into it was because it was just fun. Whenever my husband would buy things, I would open them, and the looks on my face when I opened them were priceless. And he kind of wanted to catch it on camera. And all the comments that I make, like, really another one of these. So it just started off as a joke between him and I. And it kind of just grew. I mean, I love toys, and I can't go anywhere without looking for toys. I have a toy, like, sixth sense every time I go into a store. So I'm really glad that you guys have shared this journey with me. And so now we have a new milestone, 150 subscribers. And once we get to 150, I would love to do another raffle since the first one went so well. And we had a lot of participants. So I kind of wanted to give you guys some choices. The first one, we just decided to give away a Skeletor. But, we do other toys also on JetX Toy Box. So I wanted to give you the choices. So we have this guy. So this is a Marvel Legends, and it's really cool. It's one of the Build-A-Figs, and, this is kind of the only one that we're giving away from the Build-A-Fig, but it's kind of cool, right? So we were thinking about giving away Mr. Wonder Man. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you're interested. He's one of our options, and he's new in box. Really cool, right? We've got multiple arms, multiple hands, apparently, and you get an Abomination leg. Cool. Or, this is one of our newest acquisitions, the metal head from TMNT Pop. We got some turtle fans out there. I was thinking maybe if you were interested, you might want to get the metal head. And this is a Target exclusive, by the way. So, just in case you haven't seen it out in stores, it's because it's a Target exclusive. Or, it wouldn't be a Gen X raffle if we didn't at least offer a He-Man. So, as you can see, we have a boxed figure, and we brought him out. We've got a Prince Adam for you. This is the Super 7 Filmation version. So, this is also one of the prizes that you can pick from. So, I'm trying to figure out how I want to do it. I'm trying to decide whether, we just pick the winner, and the winner gets to choose their prize, or if we get enough requests, we'll just make the raffle that prize. But I think I might make it winner's choice this time. And I think we'll probably do it the same way by looking at who has commented on our page and assigning them a number. So once we get to 150, please make sure you comment on the videos, and whoever has commented, you will get assigned a number, and then we'll do the random number generator again, and then we'll find a winner, and then we'll hopefully get that video up. And if you could, take a video of yourself opening the prize so we can see if you liked it or not. All right, so let's get to our next goal, 150 subscribers. You think you can do it? I think we can do it. Get some more people, get some friends, because I'm excited to give these away. See you guys soon.